Let's talk about red flags that you should watch out for when you're dating or in a relationship. What is a red flag? Historically, red flags had a few different meanings, but a common one was somebody was willing to die for a cause. Another use was as a warning. For example, to warn that a flood was coming. So in modern times, a red flag is a warning. Think danger ahead. In today's society of dating and relationships, knowledge of red flags can be essential in warning somebody if a relationship or person can be potentially negative, or unfortunately even dangerous. Now, one red flag does not mean you should halt all interaction with a person you might be interested in dating or pursuing a relationship with. But multiple red flags or significant red flags should definitely be heeded. Being aware of red flags can help keep you out of a relationship that has the potential to be damaging or harmful. So we're going to go over lists of red flags, but I did want to point out that there are some behavior and actions that one person might consider a red flag while another person might not. For example, and this is a very light example, you're talking to somebody, potentially dating them, and you notice that they spend 4 hours a day at the gym. Well, a lot of people might consider that a red flag because they view it as excessive and they wonder if this person is going to be able to make time for them. On the other hand, another person might be super into the gym and enjoy spending a lot of time there as well, so they don't see it as a red flag. Another example is that you have somebody that's very committed to sobriety and they're talking to someone and then they realize that they drink, smoke, things like that. So that would be a red flag for them, but another person might not see that as a red flag at all. So what's considered a red flag can be different for everyone, but there are certain ones that are an issue across the board. For example, a partner putting their hands on you without consent and out of anger would be a red flag for anybody. All that being said, let's get into some shady behavior to pay attention to. Many of the red flags I'm going to mention are forms of abuse. If you're watching this video and you're currently feeling unsafe in a relationship, I'm including some resources in my description box for help. Okay, so let's start with some red flags that might be more common when you're just starting to get to know somebody or you're dating somebody. And a lot of these red flags are more so indicators of them not truly being interested. So, not making plans, not initiating plans, not being the one to propose hanging out, just not putting any effort in there. Or you make plans and then they cancel them without rescheduling them. That's definitely a sign that somebody is not taking you or the potential relationship seriously. Right along with that is making plans and then blowing them off at the last minute, or just not showing up altogether. Now, say you're chatting with somebody and you're trying to get to know them. Notice if they're asking you questions about yourself. Are they asking you anything about yourself? Are they trying to get to know you, learn about you and your interests? If they're not, that's not a good sign. Almost opposite of that is asking too many questions. So there is a happy medium. Not asking any questions at all, showing no interest, or asking way too many questions, getting too personal when they barely know you, or asking questions that are almost accusatory that seems like they're trying to catch you in something or trip you up. Only interested in talking about physical traits or sex, or for example, they just compliment you on your appearance, or they keep making comments about wanting to get intimate with you and you literally just met. If they seem to be extra secretive or they don't tell you a lot about themselves, I mean, some people are more reserved and that's fine. That doesn't mean it's a red flag. But if they're super secretive, like they don't answer any of your questions or they seem to be especially guarded or kind of a little bit sketchy, that's a bit of a warning. If you guys are hanging out and their phone is out the entire time, whether they're looking at social media or texting around you, that's a red flag that they don't value or appreciate your time. If you're talking to somebody and you've texted them or messaged them, they're taking forever to get back to you, this is also an indication that maybe they don't value your time, or it's an indication that they're trying to play games, and these are all red flags. If they're reaching out to you at weird hours, you haven't heard from them in days, and now suddenly it's 2 a.m. and they're sending you a text that they want to get together. No. Unless that's what you want. And right along with that, they don't respond to you for days, and then suddenly they hit you up, and then they're gone again. And then they hit you up again a couple days later. If you notice that they're following a lot of guys, girls on social media, whoever it is that they're interested in, and they're communicating with them a lot in a flirtatious manner, like leaving little heart emojis or something like that. And similar to that would be not following you on social media or not accepting your follow requests, not allowing you into their internet space or vice versa. If they're getting touchy right away, like you're on your first date and they're already grabbing for your leg or something like that, like 2 minutes in, they're putting their hand on your thigh. That's not a good sign. If they're judgmental, you've just met and they're commenting about how your job isn't a really good one, or they don't particularly like your haircuts, or they're kind of like judging you in even just like a joking way, but it's still judgmental, like maybe teasing about your sense of fashion or something along those lines. But it's not cute, it's not funny, it's just a little bit mean. If they're using drugs, drinking to excess, anything that you're uncomfortable with. And I'm not trying to say that everybody has to be 100% sober or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean if somebody is, really into using drugs or really into drinking, and that seems to be a big part of their life. If they're sharing really personal things with you right away, like you've just met them and they're telling you things that you wouldn't tell somebody unless you had known them for years. If it's the first date and they pick the place, you get there, it's like a restaurant, they're ordering your meal, they're just making all the decisions, that's just, no. Bragging, and I know everybody puts their best foot forward, especially when you're first meeting somebody and you're into them, and you might, exaggerate or embellish a little bit, but outright bragging, just going on nonstop about how amazing they are, or how great their career is, or how much money they have, blah, blah, blah. Not being able to laugh. If they have no sense of humor and they're unable to laugh with you, it's not good. Arguing with you, you've just met and they're already picking little fights, or you guys just clash and you're both arguing, that might be a sign that the potential relationship between the two of you might not end up being the healthiest if you're already arguing a lot at the beginning of things. Asking where you are all the time, you're, again, just getting to know somebody, maybe you've been on a couple dates and they're already texting you like, hey, where are you? A couple minutes later, hey, what are you doing? Who are you with? Who are you with? Why aren't you answering me? That's a no. Getting angry at the mention of another person, just getting jealous, not wanting to hear about it, or getting actually mad. And this is kind of at the opposite end of things, but they're way too much at once. You're on your first date and they're talking about how you guys are going to get married, have kids, they're telling you that they're in love with you, but you literally just met. And I know in the movies, that might seem romantic, but honestly, it's a red flag. So what should you do if you're just getting to know somebody and they display maybe 1 or 2 red flags? Should you immediately be done with them? No, I don't think so. I think it depends what it is and how you feel about it. Use your intuition. If it doesn't feel right, then it's probably not. Also, you can always talk to somebody you trust and get their perspective, because a lot of times we ourselves can't see things for how they really are, especially when it comes to dating, relationships, stuff like that. But somebody that loves and cares about you might be able to give you a more genuine perspective. Okay, so let's go over some red flags to watch out for when you're in a relationship. You're past the talking phase, you're past the dating phase, you've decided to commit to one another. What are some things that you should watch out for? Non-consensual violence, it's never okay, and it's a major red flag. Belittling, patronizing, or not taking you seriously. Even if they're just joking, but they're almost mocking you or making you feel less than. Right along with that, not taking your opinion into consideration, as if they don't value your opinion as much as their own. Making critical comments about your appearance, your personality, your profession, your friends and family. Like, yes, everybody's allowed to have an opinion, but if they're constantly being negative about things that you care about, people that you love, and you yourself as a person, that's a major red flag. Not putting in any effort with your friends or family. When you ask them about their previous relationship history, they have nothing to say. They almost seem like they're keeping secrets or maybe not telling you everything. Or they tell you about their crazy ex. And while it's true, I'm sure we've all had a crazy ex experience. In this case, if they're telling you about their crazy ex, it's definitely a bit of a warning, something to look into. Because a lot of times when people say this, it's really that they were the crazy ex and they're blaming it on another person. Or even that they were in a toxic partnership and they were as much of a problem as their partner was. So maybe they don't say that their ex is crazy, but they talk about their ex all the time. Whether they belittle them or they just talk about them a lot, they just casually bring up their ex regularly. That could mean that they're not over their ex. Keeping their phone very close to them at all times, turning the screen away from you when you're close by, never letting you see what's on their phone, never letting you use their phone. And I know some people, they don't want to share their phones or their passcodes, and that's totally fine. You have the right to your privacy. But if they're being shady with their phone, then something could definitely be up. Not wanting to compromise, you always have to do what they want to do and never what you want to do. Or when it comes to making a decision together, it ends up going their way because they refuse to compromise with anything that you want. Not respecting boundaries. You tell them you're uncomfortable with something and they continue to do it anyways. not respecting sexual boundaries, not respecting physical boundaries, not respecting your time. This could mean when you're intimate together, they want you to do something that you've told them you're uncomfortable with and they keep pushing it. Or it could mean you told them you're going to bed early because you have a long day at work the next day and they're continuing to kind of want your attention and keep you up really late. Lying is a big red flag. You've caught them in a lie, you suspect them of lying. Manipulation, turning the tables around on you when they've done something wrong, making it seem like it's your fault, or, trying to manipulate you into getting their own way. Always needing control, always needing to be the one in control, feel like they make the decisions, feel like they make the calls, and, you kind of answer to them is how they see it. Jealousy. And I know a lot of people think that this is cute, or it says that the person just really is into them, really loves them. And a little jealousy can be normal, but anything more than that is a problem. If they are accusing you of hanging out with people, if they don't like you hanging out with certain people, they don't want you even around your friends, or they just always act like you're going to cheat on them, you're going to do something wrong. Getting jealous of someone you have repeatedly told them as a friend, getting jealous of your actual friends, people you work with, your family members, just getting jealous of anybody that takes the attention away from them. Wanting to only spend time alone, just the two of you, and I'm not talking about, occasionally, like all the time. They want it to just be you two. Inability to communicate, lots of arguing, and this could just be a red flag for the relationship itself. Maybe just that particular relationship is going to tend to be toxic, or it could be for that specific person. They just want to argue, they want to fight. If they make you feel pressured into doing anything, their feelings for you change regularly. Sometimes they're all about you, they're so in love, and then the next day they're questioning things, they're not sure if they want to be together. I'm talking this as a regular pattern that happens often. They're accusatory, they accuse you of things, they accuse you of lying when you haven't, they accuse you of cheating when you haven't. You don't feel like you're being listened to, you don't feel like they support you or encourage you. They only want to do things that they want to do. People that love you don't like this person. They make you feel crazy, they make you question yourself, with gaslighting or things like that. They cheat, they play games. They threaten to break up often or when they're not getting their way. And here's a couple other red flags to pay attention to within yourself as maybe a sign that something's not right. Since you've been with them, you've been feeling more stressed out. You get nervous when you have to deal with them, or you're nervous that they're going to get mad or upset or accuse you of something. You feel exhausted or drained when you're around them or after having spent time with them. You're not feeling safe, feeling like you need to lie or that you have to lie, hiding things from this person, making excuses for them. So those are red flags, whether you're dating, just getting to know somebody, or you're in a relationship with them, you've been with this person a long time. Definitely some things to watch out for. If you're noticing a lot of red flags, I definitely encourage you to maybe think about not being with this person. If you're dealing with somebody that's doing a lot of these things and you feel like it's difficult to get away from them or break up, please check out the resources down below. Look for support. You can always message me. I just want everybody to be in happy, healthy relationships where they feel loved and supported. If you're looking for other videos about relationships, check out this one right here, and I will see you in my next video. Have a good day or night.